this year, despite the recent fluctuation in the performance of tech shares in the world's equity markets. Analysts say that as many as 34 tech startups from China, from India, and across Southeast Asia, they are all planning to launch their IPOs this year. In Southeast Asia, the largest unicorn, Grab, they are expecting to announce more details of their listing in New York through this week. But according to Bloomberg, the ride-hailing giant has already attracted backing from T. Rowe Price Group and even Temasek Holdings here in Singapore for their planned merger with a blank check company. That deal might value Grab at more than $34 billion. Now, other mega deals are going to front a whole chain of listings from the most valuable startups across this region this year. We, of course, have heard from Grab, but also their arch foe, Gojek, together with the e-commerce giant Tokopedia from Indonesia and Singapore's very own property guru. China's top ride-hailing company, Didi Chuxing, is also expected to be in their advanced preparations for a listing in the US. The media reports there suggest that IPO might value Didi Chuxing at about $70 billion to $100 billion. Didi is expected to use some of the profits from that raising to fund their global expansion. And in India, not to be left out, the first startup unicorn in Mobi. They're gearing up for their public market debut in the US. Their mobile advertising technology entity allegedly wants to raise as much as $1 billion from that listing. It might value the entire group, though, at between $12 to $15 billion. Analysts also say with many more tech giants in Asia joining that pipeline this year, the estimated collective funds to be raised in the capital markets might surpass the $50 billion mark we've seen. Still ahead on Asia First, Tokyo is about to come under another round of COVID-19 curbs from today. And India has banned the export of the controversial antiviral drug Remdesivir, with their infection numbers surging.
This April, take a peek into the unknown, uncover dark truths, and rediscover a legacy. Midnight Story. The unprecedented access to NASA's satellite imagery. Rediscover the Singapore you never knew after dark. Undercover Asia, a deadly gamble. Uncover the ugly truth behind online gambling and the inner workings of dangerous syndicates. Belly of a Nation. Step into the lives of a generation of family-owned hawker stalls known for their scrumptious popular dishes. This April on CNA.
COVID-19 was a real wake-up call as to how vulnerable our food security situation is.
COVID-19 acts as a catalyst to start thinking about using technology in education.
We want to make sure that our future dorms are more resilient to pandemics.
The Singapore hospitality industry, we are survivors, we are fighters.
Watch Our New Normal on demand at cna.asia.
Every day, the financial world goes through dramatic rise and falls. We'll track the biggest market movers and show you where the opportunities lie. Get the experts' take on the performance of key indices. Plus all the analysis to help you understand forces driving global economies. The daily business news you need. Only on CNA. This segment is brought to you by Xeon Corporation. Follow the beats and keep on grooving in the energetic district of Gangnam. Explore where you can learn traditional Korean moves before upping the tempo with the latest K-pop routines. From the latest in hip-hop to the basics in tap dancing, Gangnam has it all. Gangnam Insiders Picks, Sunday on CNA. This program is brought to you by the Gangnam Gu office.
5 athletes at the top of their game, training hard for the pinnacle event of their sports. But COVID-19 had other ideas.
In news just in, the Tokyo Olympics are to be postponed.
I was a little bit annoyed because that really messed up a lot of plans.
Everyone was uncertain.
We were actually relieved.
I was a little bit upset and frustrated.
But preparations for the Olympics and the Paralympics carried on.
Working a lot with my coach, fixing a few technical errors here and there.
Trainings and competitions are going on in Europe, waiting to get back to Portugal.
Well done. 5-4-5.
Oh,
Yay.
baby.
Well done, buddy.
every time we take a break, we technically have to restart.
Gunning for the Olympics and the Paralympics. Watch Tokyo Dreams on demand at cna.asia.
Thanks for joining us this Monday morning. It's 9:30 Singapore, Hong Kong time. Here's another look at the day's top stories. Tough talk over Taiwan. U.S. leaders warn Chinese authorities against using force to seize control of the island.
All I can tell you is it would be a serious mistake for anyone to try to change the existing status quo by force.
A show of unity in the face of territorial divisions. The U.S. and the Philippines are starting a 2-week joint military exercise as top officials from both nations exchange views on the situation in the South China Sea, where Filipino leaders are wrestling with a growing Chinese presence in the disputed Spratly Islands. And a powerful cyclone arrives in Western Australia, bringing high winds and the threat of flooding after tearing through parts of Indonesia, where it left more than 200 people dead or missing.
Well, in Singapore, a man who received 2 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine has tested positive for the infection.
The 23-year-old Indian national resides in a foreign worker dormitory. The man is asymptomatic and his infection is unlinked. It's the first dormitory case in about 6 weeks. He received both vaccine doses almost 2 months ago.
The health ministry officials say this is a reminder that it's still possible for inoculated individuals to get infected, but that vaccines are effective in preventing symptomatic disease. No new infections were reported in the community.
Well, the effectiveness of China's COVID-19 vaccines is under more scrutiny. Chinese health officials are refuting claims of a low protection rate and defending efforts at improving efficacy. Local media reports say Gao Fu, the head of the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, had said the agency was considering how to solve the problem of low efficacy of existing vaccines. However, he walked back the comments, telling the Global Times the reporting of low efficacy was a complete misunderstanding. But he asserted that scientists are continually seeking to improve the vaccines, mixing different jabs to get a boost and considering varying intervals between doses. Sinovac's CoronaVac is China's most widely distributed jab. The company concedes that varying levels of effectiveness have been found, and it's recommending longer intervals between doses.
疫苗的这个保护效力，它会受到当地疾病的流行强度、疫苗的免疫程序，然后不同的流行毒株对病例的这个判定的标准、受试者年龄范围等等很多的因素的影响。这也是科兴周围的这个新冠疫苗在不同国家的这个临床研究中得出这个保护效力不一样的这个原因之一。另外呢，我们确实在临床研究中间也观察到，比如说我如果采用更长的接种的间隔，这个保护效力可能会更高。所以在目前我们虽然临床研究阶段这个免疫程序是014的程序，但是我们目前在境外的使用。
Details of a Brazilian study on Sinovac's CoronaVac jab emerged at the beginning of the year. It found the effectiveness of the shot at preventing symptomatic infections was as low as 50.4%. That's close to the 50% threshold at which health experts say a vaccine is useful. Further clouding the situation, China's manufacturers have not published their phase 3 trial data, and that's led to accusations of a lack of transparency over the vaccine's effectiveness on different population groups.
India has banned the export of antiviral drug remdesivir and its active pharmaceutical ingredients.
Many countries use it to treat COVID-19, even though the WHO says there's no evidence that it improves survival. Last November, the WHO issued a conditional recommendation against its use in hospitalized patients, regardless of the severity of the disease. But in India, there's been a sudden spike in demand for both the remdesivir drug and the injection as the country battles a second wave of infections.
Well, India recorded more than 152,000 new cases yesterday. That's the sixth record rise in 7 days. More than 800 new deaths were registered. That's the highest in more than 5 months.
The health ministry says the export ban will last until the virus situation improves. 7 Indian companies have licensed the drug from Gilead Sciences, both for local use and for exports to more than 100 countries. Manufacturers have been asked to step up supplies.
Well, India has already stalled exports of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine as